Relax. Alors, c'est juste du travail de respiration. It's all breath work this morning, so we're really getting into it. So we go down now into a cobra position, sphinx position, sur les avant-bras. So I'm on my forearms, les doigts sont écartés. Première chose que tu veux faire une étude de tes omoplates, study my shoulder blades, puis trouve une distribution, une position égale puis symétrique. Donc quelque chose qui sentir égal puis confortable. So I just want to adjust my shoulder blades, be mindful of them. It doesn't matter if you're actually like this for this phase. You just want to get to where you feel in your own mind's eye, in your own body, that you are more equal. Puis maintenant, tu veux tenir cette position avec un minimum du stress. C'est la structure, c'est tes os qui va te donner de puissance. So structure is giving strength now. It's not muscular, it's not tendinous, it's really finding my balance and my alignment. C'est le travail ici maintenant, lâche des contractions. If my structure is doing the work, I just stay in alignment and I breathe. I permit myself to feel it. Particulièrement l'estomac. Right? Very often, because there's a demand on the back, we contract the stomach out of fear. I want to release my tailbone. Lâche le coccyx. Lâche les muscles abdominaux. So abdominal muscles relax. Alors tu vas voir, à cause de cette arche, il y a une limitation sur l'abdomen. There's an abdominal limitation. Puis à le commencement, des fois, on respire d'une façon trop cognitive. At the beginning, we try to think of the breath. Puis on force trop d'inspiration dans l'abdomen. We force too much inhale into the stomach. Mais quand ça devient plus plate, plus confortable, plus naturel, quand tu penses moins de cette position, as it gets more boring, as it gets more natural, I start breathing or thinking less of the stomach. Puis l'inspiration, maintenant, ça va aller moins vers le bas de ton abdomen. It goes less into the base of the abdomen. Puis la plupart de ton inspiration, ça va arrêter juste en dessous du plexus, dans le centre. C'est plus les côtes qui vont travailler. I don't even think about it. If I don't think about it, my ribs start to expand more. Alors c'est une bonne position pour augmenter la respiration thoracique puis suclévien d'une façon confortable. It's a very non-ballistic, very safe way to relax and start to work my thoracic and subclavian breathing. Dans cette position, maintenant, on va juste rentrer avec les genoux. So I enter with my knees, I stretch. Garde la tête en ligne, le nez vers le tatami, mais garde un petit espace en dessous le nez. So I elongate naturally. I keep my nose aligned and my head straight to the floor, but don't rest. Keep a little space under the head. Puis maintenant, en plus, tu vas sentir que l'abdomen, maintenant, c'est différent parce que c'est pas tendu à cause de la flexion. Place ton fait genou. Keep your butt down. In the cobra, the sphinx, your stomach was taut. It was strong and it was stretched. Il y a un étirement dans le cobra, même si l'abdomen est pas tendu, c'est un peu attiré. Right? Even if in the cobra, the sphinx position, the abdomen wasn't contracted, it was a little bit stretched. So there was a type of tension. Mais dans cette position, maintenant, l'abdomen, c'est complètement mou. Stomach now is mushy, it's soft, it's open. Il n'y a aucune demande sur l'abdomen, mais c'est compressé à cause de la structure. Right? There's no physical demand, but biomechanically, it's impinged because you're bent. Alors, à cause de ça, tu vas sentir maintenant plus un attirement dans les côtes. Right? So now you're going to feel more of the ribs work. Particulièrement, on dit la tête des côtes, right? Like the head of the ribs on the thighs. Il y a certainement une augmentation en dessous des clavicules aussi, mais on sentir ça moins dans cette position que les côtes. Right? So there's also an increased demand on subclavian breathing, but we tend to notice it less because it's a harder area to feel, and the ribs are expanding more noticeably. Maintenant, lève la porte, so the body comes up. Écarte vos pieds, trouve une position confortable, puis on veut juste aller un peu en avant. Mais trouve ton équilibre. I don't want to fall, I just want to lean forward. Puis à cause de ça, il y a une contraction moyenne. There's a moderate contraction of the stomach, les côtes. Puis quand tu respires ici, il y a un stress mécanique puis un stress psychologique. Puis tu vas sentir naturellement que c'est un peu plus tendu. Like it's tenser, cognitively, because I'm teetering and I'm thinking, and without even realizing it, my breath becomes more shallow. So it starts to happen here more. Si tu ajoutes cette contraction, par exemple, je vais mettre les mains ici sur les chevilles. If somebody's helping me and I go forward just past my limit, now I'm going to feel it even higher, right? Alors, des fois, il y a une discrimination ou une image négative contre tous les autres types de respiration. On croit que la respiration abdominale, c'est suprême. Right? Sometimes we think shallow breathing is bad, and oh, you're not breathing in the abs. Abdominal breathing is good. Abdominal breathing is best for relaxation, for longevity, for health, all of those things. Right? Pour la santé, c'est très important, la respiration abdominale. Mais si tu brises tes côtes, tu manges un couteau dans l'estomac, ou tu peux pas parce qu'il y a quelqu'un avec un genou sur l'estomac, tu n'as aucune option. Tu dois respirer en dessous de la clavicule, puis ça doit être efficace. If I break your rib, if I've got a hard knee on body, or you're physically impinged in the triangle hold, or whatever the reason is, and I'm injured or I'm mechanically limited in my stomach, and even my ribs, then subclavian breathing is really all I've got left. And it may not be as effective, but I better know how to do it as efficiently as possible. Otherwise it's going to suck, right? Also on wooded tibia, we normally call that a shin box when it's closed in tight. And in yoga, when it's more open, they usually call that a half pigeon. Dans yoga, normalement, si c'est plus ouvert, c'est un moitié pigeon. Alors, on va ouvrir plus d'un moitié pigeon. Go down to a half pigeon. Puis tu veux jamais rebondir. You're never bouncing. Il n'y a rien, il y a ballistique. Tu ne veux pas enforcer une position. You're not forcing the position. Tu veux juste jouer. You just want to play, explore. Si par exemple c'est confortable, si tu ouvres sur ton dos, fais-le. Tu peux bouger tes bras. I can open the body. I can see whatever I need to do. I like to go under my leg, augment the lever and the hip. Everybody's different. Tu peux allonger les jambes en avant un peu plus, ouvrir ou fermer. I can close the front lever of the leg. Feel the weight going over. But it's just a free roaming exploration of the leg. I'm not even thinking of the breath, but the body's been so prepared that it is breathing on compression. Nice and comfortable. Maintenant, changement. L'autre côté, other side. Very good for the limbic system. Le système limbique pour les hanches, fesses, or the butt and hip is often neglected. Very good opening. System de digestion, digestive system as well. Generally pleasant. Most people generally like this stretch. Okay, guys. Maintenant, on va plier un jambe puis allonger l'autre. So we're going to start off just in a simple leg pistol. Alors, il y a trois façons où on peut rester, trois façons du base avec tes hanches. Right? There's three basic hip positions here. Dans cette position, je suis en arrière de mon pied. So I'm behind my hips, my foot right now, my foot is down, and I'm sitting. Pour faire les transitions, trouve la façon le plus efficace, le plus paresseuse pour commencer. Right? So I want to find the laziest, least demanding way to switch. Cherche un contrebalance de ton corps, utilise tes bras pour des supports. Right? So counterbalance with the body, breathe well, hands on the floor and walk. Deuxième position, c'est le pied en dessous ton fesse. Right? So the second position is the foot underneath my butt. Puis ça peut être relatif, par exemple. It can be relative. It could just be kind of like that if there's demand. Ça peut jamais faire mal dans tes genoux. Si ça fait mal, garde une ouverture plus grand. If it hurts, stay open. It is enough. If I had a really bad knee, I might do this. That's me behind my knee. Ooh, and that's all I can bend. That would be me relatively on top of my knee. It's an alignement, but I want to get aligned. I don't want to be necessarily putting demand. If I can sit on it, fantastic. Right? Alors, première position en arrière. So first position, I'm behind my foot. Second position, I lazily and comfortably sit. C'est travail de santé en premier. Right? It's health work first. Be comfortable. If you're comfortable there, just rest. Don't rush. Tu peux bouger l'autre genou, right? Le jambe compressé. If it's comfortable, even if you've got a bad knee, hold it to give it some confidence, but you're not straining it. Just play. This is your hip working. The only way you're going to hurt your knee is if you muscularly contract it, and if you trust yourself, it's not going to happen. So relax, feel it, open. Tu peux aussi travailler avec ton bras. And I can use my arm on the inside, and I can spider walk my hand back. Alors maintenant, il n'y a aucune demande sur ton jambe. Right? So I'm sitting here. I can lift that up. I just put my hand and I walk it. Right? Si vous êtes capable, tu peux utiliser les jambes, le fesse. Open. I can do both. And I play. Mais vous êtes sur le pied. You're on the foot. Yeah? So behind and up. Puis si tu sors puis retour, if you come out of it and go back, chaque fois ça va être un placement un peu différent, un peu plus avance, un peu plus vers le côté gauche ou droit. Every time is a bit different. I see where I go. Puis graduellement, vous êtes prêt pour la troisième position en avant de ton pied. And maybe hopefully today you'll be able to get to the third position where I just start to slide off my foot and I'm in front of it. Si tu dépasses 1-2 pouces, tu dois faire une transition de ton pied en arrière. Right? So I start to go past my foot. Now my foot starts to lift, so I rotate my toes out. Right? C'est un peu comme une position Cossack ou une fondation. It's like a Cossack squat open or a basic Western hurdler stretch, right? Very light. Sometimes people force this, they hurt their knee because that's the weakest part of the chain and they're just not respecting the rest. Si c'est dur sur ton genou, enlève la pression. Make it kind of like an open half pigeon. Find the comfortable way. Si tu travailles chaque jour avec respect, tu vas ajouter toujours un peu de ton capacité, ton tolérance, ton sensitivité. Right? Every day should add a little bit, millimeter by millimeter. Ounce of confidence after ounce of confidence. Comfort and sensitivity. Mais si tu travailles juste un peu trop vite, tu laisses ton corps, ça peut durer pour 18 mois ou la vie. Right? So you tear a knee, maybe 18 months later you'll be good, maybe it'll always stay with you. So you want to respect it. Alors les transitions, quand tu vas retourner sur le pied, c'est juste pour savoir comment tu vas mettre le pied en dessous. I come back on my foot and I just study how it goes out. And I go from position 2 to position 3. Nice and loose. I feel comfort in that. C'est tout en relation entre les jambes. Tu peux changer les jambes comme tu veux. You change legs as you want. It's really free roaming work. These 3 positions, we talk about stretching, right? Most people do the sort of worst kind of stretch there is, which is ballistic, right? La plupart des personnes font des étirements balistiques comme ça. Imagine chaque petit mouvement, c'est comme une attaque sur le système nerveux. Right? It's like you're ambushing your nervous system. Your body's saying, man, I don't trust you. I'm going to take away rights. Il y a des façons, tu peux faire le travail balistique où tu peux comme jouer avec ton jambe, mais c'est le degré de blessure ou le risque de blessure, puis l'avantage, c'est un équilibre très sensitif. Right? The relationship between, for example, doing leg throws, ballistic leg throws, the relationship between gain and risk is very precarious. So unless you're a high-performance athlete, being monitored, si tu as quelqu'un, un assistant, you have a coach or somebody beside you, normally I say avoid the ballistics. But certainly when you see people doing this as a warm-up, that's more of a nervous twitch than an actual assistance to your body. Le deuxième niveau, c'est les étirements statiques. Right? And most people after that, they go to static stretches, and that's more for the nervous system. C'est plus pour ton système émotionnel, le système nerveux. Mais l'avantage, c'est pas vraiment là, parce qu'il n'y a pas une demande physique sur les muscles, c'est juste un attirement. You start to deform your muscle. You make them lax, but you don't make them strong. So it becomes like a worn-out underwear waistband. It has laxity, but no gain. Right? Alors c'est toujours mieux de travailler avec. You see people doing a static stretch. First thing they do is this. They deform the structure. They pervert the breath. System spikes up. It's no good. If you were going to do static, at least keep a good alignment and don't compete with yourself. Just feel what you feel. Mais c'est toujours mieux si tu peux mettre un demande physique sur tes muscles, puis jouer. Right? If I don't go static and I start to physically demand my body, I start to contract. For example, I lift my heel off, I engage my quadricep, and I start to play. Now it's going to be much deeper. Le travail physique puis aussi psychologique, c'est plus profond. There's nothing sudden. I'm never bouncing. I'm never hurting my body. I'm just studying where I need the work. I don't do this. There's no advantage of doing this, right? I want to expand my body and try to go forward. Donne un objectif impossible. Then give yourself the perfect objective you're never going to reach, which is tongue on the floor past the mat. Seek for perfection. Seek for good alignment. You're not competing with yourself. As soon as you tell yourself, I got to get my head to my knee, it has nothing to do with health. That's your ego getting in play. Right? I get my head to my knee with bad posture. What does it give me? Bad breath, bad everything. I want to stretch. Cherche une posture idéale, respiration idéale. Raconte la douleur, tes appréhensions, toutes directement. Right? I feel absolute sort of discomfort in a safe way. You know, true sort of, it's not even true signal, it's just noise, it's white noise, interference. I just feel where it's stretching, and when I go into that, into flavor country, I feel that stretch. Puis quand tu lèves sur le pied, when I lift up on the foot, it's the same thing. Trouve la façon. On doit savoir la différence entre un douleur dans les jointures qui peut être dangereuse, but I have to know the difference between pain in my kneecap or pain in my ankle or something that's potentially dangerous, puis un étirement, right? And discomfort from a stretch. It's noise and sound signal. Difference. I want to ignore the white noise, a little screaming from my adductor, a little school bus of children going, "Wah!" They always do that, right? My 95-year-old hips, I ignore them. It's the rest that I want to feel. I want to go deep. If the leg bends, you know, I don't want to be arrogant, try to keep it straight with tension and not be able to move. I want to explore it. Today, this is feeling great. I open and I'm on. Puis maintenant, la transition entre les 3 divisions, c'est artificiel. And I start to see that we start with behind and on and in front, but then it just erodes. you just drip down. Ah, now I start to feel. Right? Today, I'm getting nothing out of sitting on my foot. Aujourd'hui, ça donne rien sur cette côté. Mais juste sur le frontière, juste sur le côté, ça donne beaucoup plus. For me today, this is where I feel the stretch. That's where I would work. Technically, I'm still on-ish. I'm kind of on it. Puis la transition ici, quand tu fais la rotation, maintenant c'est plus le jeu. You start to see when you relax and listen to your body, every position is isolating a different part. But if you have a weak part, you're aware of it in different ways in every position. You can't have a weakness in that chain and not always feel it. But you just work. And you can go back from 3 to 2, 2 to 3. Puis étude la façon dont tu peux trouver ton contrebalance, tu peux utiliser ton support. Even if all I did was create a rut in the mud today, go 3 to 2, 2 to 3, back and forth, I would try to do it mindfully and differently. Puis la transition entre ça puis le moitié pigeon, par exemple, ça donne un étirement très dynamique, right? So if I'm transitioning from a hurdler stretch pistol to an open, just a modified half pigeon, deep work in the tendons and the muscles. I open. Very, very good work.